The FIT is a good tool. There's no question. I would say it has to also be seen in sort of an overall sort of policy environment. And that's really, characterized, is the government providing an environment that gives TLC? And when I mean TLC, it's transparency, as you know, on the process. L for, the longevity. And then, of course, the certainty. If we look at in terms of the fundamental natural resource, our wind resource, our solar resource competes nicely. The solar doesn't compete as well with Spain, but certainly with Germany. The wind resource is solid. Our biomass resource is significant. We didn't get quite as generous on the landfill as Summers, but that intrigues me a little. We've got certainly engineering talent here. That's exciting. We've got a great location. If we can get this up and going, where we can sort of put it down into some of the the Midwest and so forth. Something they want to do, of course. They want to be the export platform. So that's not easy. So I think we've got a number of things going for us. I think at the end of the day, I look at what's happening. Next month we'll see BC roll out their Clean Energy Act, and there's a certain amount of provincial pride here, rivalry. You'll see a little difference. They will not go the FIT route as much. One, I don't think they can afford it. It's not clear if Ontario can afford it. And this is one of the other things that we'll have to see over time when we look at FITs. Learn from other jurisdictions like Spain, where they were too generous. And one of the real dominant trends that I think we should underscore here has been the meaningful reductions in the cost of renewable energy. For example, what we've seen in photovoltaic modules, 35 to 55% drop in those prices in the last 12 months. That's dramatic. Wind, installed wind costs down about 5 to 10%. What's that reflecting? A 20% drop in wind turbine prices. So this is important when it gets back to sort of this social contract and the stability of regulations, because if we're too generous, it's not sustainable. You have it taken back, and we can't have that kind of capricious behavior. So a lot of this will be, do we set the right environment? I think they've made a good first move. I think it's pricing carbon, whether it's a carbon trading or a carbon tax like you have in BC. Quite frankly, I think carbon tax may be a little more straightforward. Might not be as elegant, but I think it can really have an impact. The pricing of the carbon is something, in my own view, what we've done, if you've looked at the feed-in tariffs, if you've taken one point in the supply chain or in the value chain, and you said, at that point, I'm going to give a value for electrons. Well, good. Helps renewable energy, but it's so much more powerful if you say, I'm going to put a price on carbon, because it ripples throughout the whole economy. A good example of that would be, why would a chemical producer go towards biochemicals instead of fossil fuel? There's no reason with a FIT. Carbon price, you bet there is.